Hi Bookends! Welcome to 10-minute book reviews. I'm 10. So this week's review is going to be based off of the March Mystery Madness tag that we're doing this month. The first book that we're doing is Crimson Lake by Candice Fox. Oh, my bookmark. I live in an active area. Please! Yay! So, yes, Candice Fox. We got this book in our February book box, book subscription from Bookcase Club in our thriller box. So, for this book, to give kind of a rating, if this was a movie, I would probably say it would, I'd say PG-13, because the subject matter might be R, but the subject matter isn't delved deeply into, so I'd say a heavy PG-13. And for a rating, since this is for a tag or a challenge, we don't do the 1 to 10 scale that we normally do. It's the 1 to 5 because we have to read it quicker. So we may not get as much out of it as we normally would have if we took our time reading it. So I would give this book a 4. Out of 5 stars, I give it a 4. So to introduce you to the main players, we have Ted. Now it's weird. His name is Edward, but he's called Ted. So I don't know if you're Edward. Let me know if people call you Ted. I know Eddie. Anyway, so yeah, he's called Ted, and he is a police officer who was accused of raping and trying to kill a 13-year-old girl. He did not do it. Then we have, or at least he says he didn't do it. Then we have Amanda, who was accused of and convicted of murdering her friend, her best friend, in high school. So this story takes place in Australia, and Ted, he's married. He's not really acquitted of the charges, just that the prosecution didn't feel like they had enough evidence to be able to continue with the trial. So he's released, and he runs as far away from Sydney, where he and his wife and his child are, as far as he can go. So it's funny, like in America, right? Like if you do something bad, like in New York or Jersey or Pennsylvania, you're not heading up further north, because what is there, Canada? So, you know, if you do something bad up here, you head down south. Everyone runs down south when they've done something wrong. But I guess in Australia, they head up north to kind of like marsh kind of farmland. So when he goes up there, he finds this injured duck and her injured goose and her little geese or goslings. And so he takes care of them. They become imprinted. They see him as their dad. She kind of sees him as her human husband. You know, there's nothing like creepy or anything about it. It's cute. So his lawyer comes out to visit him and tells him, hey, I want you to check out this woman by the name of Amanda. And he goes to check her out. He's like, I'm not interested in romance. And he's like, no, it's not about that. So Amanda, the woman who was convicted of killing her best friend when she was a teenager, I'm sorry, my allergies are killing me. She opened up her own private eye investigation thing where they are in Crimson Lake. And so he agrees to help her. After hemming and hawing, he agrees to help her with their investigations, and she's going to pay him, of course, because he's like a partner / employee. The police out there are just egregiously mean for no particular reason. There's like 4 different mysteries going on in this one book, as well as the actual backstories for each character, and I think the author handled all of them well. So the first mystery is, we know that Ted said he didn't rape the girl, but his memory is not that clear. Amanda was tried for murdering her best friend, but she was also found inside of the trunk, so we don't know if she stabbed her best friend in the front seat of the car and then got in the trunk, closed herself in, and waited, which would be kind of odd, but she was found naked in the trunk. Then they have the case that they're looking at for missing author by the name of Jake Scully. And then also there's like one other thing with some teenagers. So there's like 4 different mysteries going on all at once. I think the cutest thing, most endearing thing about this is Woman, his pet goose, and the little geese. They don't even see him as really a you know, pet owner. They kind of see him as dad, and she even lets him take the geese. One of the cutest slash saddest moments is when he's thinking about his daughter Lillian, because he hasn't seen his child, because his wife's like, you know, I'm divorcing you, I can't deal with all this. Even though he says he didn't do it, she's like, I can't deal with all this. So he feels bad about missing his daughter, so he comes outside, and Woman, his pet goose, lets him take out one of the chicks, and he holds it in his hand while he sits on the porch petting it. And the chick doesn't even bother waking up, because it's like, oh, daddy's up. You know, they trust him so implicitly. He says Amanda looks like a drug addict, but I think really she's so thin because she rides her bicycle everywhere. She's afraid to get in cars, so she doesn't get in cars anymore after the whole murder situation. So I think she's probably just thin because she rides her bicycle a lot. I could have missed it, but I don't think they really address her weight directly. I love how vulnerable Ted is. So he's a big guy. And, you know, he's a police officer. He's kind of a hardened police officer. And yet he thinks about what happened to the girl and he cries. He sits around and he feels bad. The geese keep him company because he's lonely. You know, so he has layers to him. He's not just a, you know, black and white character. He has layers to him. We don't get to see all the layers of Amanda, really, but we hear it through more so his brain than hers, aside from the prologue. If you're looking for a story with a happy ending, I mean, it kind of has a happy ending. Kind of. It was a really good book, so it does have some language in it, some cursing in it, but it wasn't gratuitously done, if that makes any sense. Like, it wasn't like overboard. So we did enjoy it, but it is going to be donated, so this is a part of the donation pile. So if you're watching and you like this, we'll try to let you know what little library we're putting it in. The next book that we read was a quick read. It is the case of the Missing Bubblegum Card by R. Weir. So this was an ebook, and so it was a quick read. Because it's a short story, not because, you know, it's a bad story, just because it's a short story. So, let me see, a PG, I would give this really a PG. I would really give it a PG, because, you know, I would think anyone from the age of 12 up could read this. It's nothing salacious about it. And rating-wise, I would give it 4 out of 5 stars, too. So, this is, I believe, the first story. If it's not, I don't think, it might not be the first story for Detective Jarvis Mann, but it is one of the Jarvis Mann detective stories. And he's a detective. Imagine like Palumbo or Monk. These like detectives who, you know, aren't really rich. They're not really taking cases for the money, taking it kind of for the principle and the action. So he sees his boy standing on his front doorstep, which is coincidentally his office and his house are the same place. So he sees this boy standing on his front doorstep, and he's like, you know, can I help you? The boy's like, I need your help. You know, long story short, his baseball card that's been handed down from generation to generation, like from his grandfather to his father to him, has been lost. And Jarvis Mann is like, bro, you could have just lost it somewhere. The kid's like 15, 16. It's like, you could have just lost it somewhere, you know. You don't need to hire a private eye for that. And he's like, no, I don't think it was lost. Someone definitely stole it. It's worth $1,500. So he's like, okay, well, it's worth $1,500. Okay, how much money do you have in your savings? The boy, I mean, how much money do you have? And the boy's like, I got $75 in savings. So it's like, that's not enough. But he agrees to take on the case anyway to help the boy. And it's a short story, and it's a happy ending. It's not an ending that I really expected, but it was super sweet. And I don't know if all the Detective Jarvis Man stories are like this, but if they are, I could really not see it as a movie, but see it as a TV show. You know, so yeah, it was nice. I really enjoyed it. He's kind of like this hard shell, but you know, he's actually really kind and really sweet. He's like a cinnamon roll. That's what he's like. He has a cinnamon roll type personality. Like he's kind of, he acts like he's hard, but he's actually really, really sweet. So yeah. So these have been the 2 books for the March Mystery Madness challenge. So we still have a couple of more books left. What else do we have to read? We still have to read Peaches and Scream by Susan Furlong, and Hope Never Dies by a man whose name I cannot remember at the moment, but the Obama Biden book. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check in with us for the 10-min check-ins that we do throughout the week. And if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, Bookends. See you again soon. Bye.